This movie is 90 years old. 90 years old. Alright, thanks for checking out my channel, thanks for checking out my video, I really do appreciate it. So, today we are reviewing the film Frankenstein from 1931. So this is the original film. I tried to watch it through a viewpoint of someone from that time period. You know, someone who had never seen or even thought up The Exorcist or, you know, monster films. Like, never thought of this or envisioned this, and then you go to a theater and you see this. And, I mean, the movie, compared to today's standards with scary films, it's not scary at all. It's almost kind of a sad film. I'll get into that in a minute. But at the time, I wonder, how scary was this? And I kind of understand that it was a little scary at the time. Obviously now, it's not at all. So I was really just watching it for historical value. But here's some of the things I picked up on. As with any old movie, there's going to be flaws. There were two scenes that stood out. It was editing flaws, and it was like a jump cut. So the character would be like walking along the screen, like walking along in the shot, like this. And instead of it looking smooth, it looked like this. And so that happened twice in the movie, right near the beginning and close to the ending. And I don't know if because when the movie was transferred to Blu-ray, if some of the film was missing or like, I don't know, but that is what it is. I don't really want to nitpick it too much because this movie's 90 years old. It was the first of its kind. So, anyhow, there's this one scene where, you know, Dr. Frankenstein is looking for dead bodies for his experiment that he's trying to put together, and there's this man who's like swinging in the wind, who's hung from the neck, and he tells his like partner to go and cut the rope and cut the guy down. And his partner's like a hunchback walking with a cane everywhere, and he's like, "You want me to climb that thing?" And Dr. Frankenstein's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay." And he like puts down his cane, and then he just climbs up this pole. And I'm like, "Wait, I thought you could hardly walk." And then he cuts the guy down. You know, the body like hits the ground. He climbs down, and he says to Dr. Frankenstein, he goes, "Is he okay?" And like, no, he's dead. I don't know if that was intentionally meant to be funny. I thought it was really funny, obviously. So, I don't know how many people know this, but Frankenstein is not the monster. Frankenstein is the guy who created the monster. The monster doesn't have a name. He's just Frankenstein's monster. And I have a feeling a good amount of people don't know that, because what's the like first thing that pops in your mind when you hear the word Frankenstein? It's this image, right? So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think a lot of people know that there's a difference. It was just interesting to finally see the movie and understand like the story and everything. As far as the quality, the Blu-ray transfer is really, really crisp and clear. The audio is a little bad, but I mean, that's because the movie's 90 years old. They could only enhance it as well as they could. The special effects are not bad for that time at all. I mean, some of it's a little hokey and stuff compared to now, but it's really not that bad. The one part I'm going to touch on before I end the review is, in this version of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, I would say he's not inherently evil. I don't think he's evil at all in the film, at least what we see of him. He's like a scared little child who doesn't understand what's going on. When you capture an animal, or I'd assume when you're holding a child hostage, I mean, I wouldn't know because I've never done that. Duh. But they're gonna freak out. they want to get out of that cage. They want to escape. And Frankenstein's monster is not a child. He's a like 8 foot tall, monster with extreme strength. So he's gonna react more violently than a little kid would or a small animal because that's just how he is. That's his physicality. So you almost feel bad for him. And then the little hunchback guy, who's Dr. Frankenstein's like partner, he keeps almost like torturing this creature, and it's like whipping at him and scaring him with a torch and stuff like that when he's told not to. And that just scares Frankenstein's monster. I almost caught. Okay. That scares Frankenstein's monster so much because he's technically being abused. So when he escapes, he kills a couple people. I don't know, I don't think he has a sense of morality. He's just trying to protect himself. And then he's out in the real world, and he meets this little girl at a pond, and she's playing flowers or something. I didn't know you could play flowers, but apparently it's a thing. And she throws some of her flowers in, and she goes, "See, it floats. You can, throw yours in too, and they'll float." So he throws his in, and they float. And he's like, he doesn't talk, but he's basically like, "Oh wow, that's really cool." And then because he has the mindset of a child, he doesn't understand life and death really. So he picks the little girl up and he tosses her into the pond, and she drowns. He wasn't trying to kill her. He just doesn't understand. He doesn't know any better. And I feel like this version of Frankenstein was really more, you feel a lot of compassion for the monster instead of being terrified of him. So those are my thoughts on this movie. From a personal enjoyment factor, I'd probably give it like a 4. From a filmmaking standpoint, given the time it was in, I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 7. Obviously, to today's standards, I'd probably give it a 4. It's not really long, so if you're into movies and you've never seen it, it might be worth watching for you, because it is a piece of cinematic history, and cultural history as well. Alright, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Like my videos, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And I am Aaron, and goodbye.